Hey dudes, welcome back to another episode of our Rhomas Men's Team podcast. You are about to listen to one of our prior team meetings. If you ever want to join one of our live sessions that we have every Monday and Friday, head over to rhomas.com. That's RHOMAS.com and put your email in and we will send you a live link every time we record. We generally record on Mondays and Fridays. So if you ever want to be on the actual podcast, like we bring men up all the time to talk about their goals, talk about their obstacles, etc., head over to rhomas.com. And then also, if you want to help support the channel grow and also have access to exclusive content, book reviews, extra whiteboard sessions, etc., and some coaching sessions, head over to patreon.com and support us. We would love it. But if not, no biggie. We'll see you on the live sessions. Later, dudes. Enjoy this podcast.
Here we are, dude. We're live. We're hot.
We're live and hot.
And recording.
On Chrome. I don't know if it's what do they call it, pixelated or not, but yeah, Matt and I have just been having crazy problems between Firefox and Chrome that I don't want to bore you guys with, but it's unreasonable.
Yeah, well, it's annoying because Chrome has that good connectivity to like setting up your microphone and camera, and Firefox has the less pixelation, but the way they connect to you is the most crazy, insane thing.
It will not allow me to use my front-facing camera on my laptop, and it won't let me change it. And I know somebody in the comments can say, "Oh, just this." Trust me, I've tried everything. I've followed exactly what they. It's literally not showing me the option, like where you go to change the camera. It is not giving me the option to change it to front-facing camera.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell. What up, dude?
What's up, man?
How do you persist? How do you persist despite the challenges?
Dude, so I swear to God, meditation has helped me with all of that. Like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing when that type of problem happens to me now. I used to feel everything when that type of problem happened to me in the past. Everything bad I would feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, I always think about how you can kind of not feel stuff in a way that's kind of unhealthy. But I will say, yeah, there's no need for like to become adrenalized when a camera doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like that's preparing you to like fight. I mean, ideally your laptop. Like I wouldn't mind smashing mine every now and again. But it's like, yeah, you don't. It's just so funny how like you can turn those systems off and just kind of navigate as much as possible with like without just completely spazzing out and freaking out.
Oh, yeah. My mental judo move for that is the meditation helps me pause. And then I insert the phrase, "This is not my game." Because I do want to go full out on the games that I want to win, and apply as much adrenalized energy towards that.
Mm-hmm.
But a simple camera not working or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like any little obstacle I used to spaz out about. Now I just remind myself, not my game, not my game. I particularly have to do this when I'm in the airport or flying. I feel like that guy, what is that, the Curb Your Enthusiasm guy?
Mm-hmm.
My brain just naturally wants to deconstruct every little thing that everybody else, including myself, does and find the errors in it. It's like, oh, why would you do that? Why would you cut in line? Why would you like all blah, 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 and like all this inner chatter. But now meditation allows me to pause on that. And then that quick line, like, this is not the game that I want to play. I'm not interested in winning this game. I'm not interested in telling that lady who just cut in front in line that I should tap on her shoulder and saying, "Excuse me, you need to learn a life lesson," which is called not butt in front of people in line. I no longer want to play those games because they don't really have the rewards that I'm looking for. So if they don't have the rewards that I'm looking for, why would I dedicate any mental energy at all towards them? Unless obviously there's some sort of like physical harm.
Yeah, man. I think it helps. What helps me is it like kind of puts a kind of limiter on like how deep I can go into my shitty thoughts. It's like again, it's like a laptop's not working. That can go from the simple problem of like I have a technical issue to be like I don't do anything right. All the way to like nobody fucking likes me. And
Yep.
it's just like it can go from that so fast to where I'm like, yeah, I am pretty sure nobody likes me because I can't do anything right. And you can just stop and be like, all right, that was, you encountered something that kind of ruffled your feathers, and you can go like, the world has not fallen apart. I can continue moving onward, and my body will recalibrate itself to like what's
Yep.
actually occurring. But dude, it's like, man, that's been a huge one for me, and it's also it helps like again, if I can just start my day every morning, which during the weekdays I do like flawlessly of waking up, go downstairs and just meditate for 20 minutes. And it's like I don't have like a really serious agenda, although I am going to start adding a couple of practices to that. Um, I really just like it just helps me order my day. It's like it's amazing. Sometimes I'm in a deep meditation. Sometimes I honestly sit there for 20 minutes and my mind will just brainstorm something I've been wanting to like figure out for a while. So
Mm.
it's just like telling you, man, being able to sit down and start your day with contemplation rather than waking up, phone to the face, like, oh shit, I got to run. I got to like really carving out like a peaceful morning routine. I know it's tough when you have a job because, it's like, do you want the sleep? Do you want the morning routine? But it's like, go to bed early, man. You got to go to bed earlier and get up.
Hmm.
It like, man, it helps big time.
Oh, without a doubt. I think, and I owe an enormous thanks to the guys who show up on the scorecard team every morning because that is 100% my anchor. Just knowing that here's the routine, meditation is baked into there, and then getting all of this other stuff done. It is a very frequent event where I think to myself, as like, oh, okay, it's 10 a.m. I got done all of this stuff, including my meditation, including mobility, including yoga, including journaling, including blah, 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 like all of the scorecard stuff done. And that also gives me a sense of peace and harmony.
Yeah. Well, I also, it does help checking in on like kind of what you did. That's a big help for me. And also I've been trying to the things I want to start incorporating because I do the meditation in the morning and then it's like I do the journaling, which is basically taking whatever struck me most while meditating, expanding that out, and then also be at the end of that, I'm like, okay, here's exactly what I want to get done this week, which
Mm.
means like I'll take those things for the week and do them during the day. But what I want to start adding every day to my journaling is, and I think this is kind of like the nuts and bolts to like having erring on the side of positivity versus like the easy free fall into kind of negativity is just writing like three things every day you're thankful for. Just write them down
Oh,
every day. And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, because I really wonder like what is it? How do people get kind of swayed into like just chronic and almost fixed negative thinking to the point where, the quote unquote, that's just how it is. I'm like, that's just how it is. And it's like, yeah, and I always kind of zoom the scale out on like, the medieval Europeans were like this feudalism. It's just what it is, man. This is just, it's like, it couldn't be more fixed than that. Like this is you're a serf, you're a peasant. That's just what it is. And then like, capitalism hit feudalism. And people are like, oh, okay. So like, I always try to err on the side of being like, you know, however fixed you think these things are, they really are not. And it's like the thing that's more important is keep like how can you orient your mind towards positivity? And I know it's so much easier to kind of slide into like, the negative shit and it's like obviously it's there, but it's like what are you going to make your focus and what is positivity going to be a thing that pops up every now and again? You're like, this is a nice departure, or are you going to try to stay oriented towards that and let the negative stuff pop up and be like, just process it and let it go. Like where does it hit the point where it becomes an experience to like a calcified worldview that you're like, no, that's just how it is? And I'm always like curious about that.
mm. Well, number one, I just saw in the comments that ASB is back. Welcome back, ASB. Good to see you,
What
brother.
up, dude?
And then number two, so we on the scorecard team this morning, we have a little learning session for 5 to 10 minutes. And one of the things we learned from Jim Rohn this morning was basically saying, don't be cautious. And I loved his line. It said, it's all risky. Uh, Hold on, let's see. It's all risky. Okay. If you think that action is risky, wait till you get the bill for not trying. So if you think that trying is risky, wait till you get the bill for not trying. And I think, Matt, mixed with human beings already have a negativity bias of an average of 5 to 1 because you're constantly seeking survival rather than necessarily opportunity. There's just that asymmetry there. So I think it's a natural state to be negative. That's why I think it's so important to be intentionally positive because you have to fight against that natural deficit out of the gate. But without a doubt, I think once you experience being on the positive road and then you get some of that positive feedback loop and the rewards associated with it, then you get this momentum. But I think what happens with most people, and including myself at times, is we let ourselves fall into that natural state, or we don't get that feedback loop quick enough. And then we just say, it's just way easier to say, well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I just don't have the skill. I just don't have the connections. I just don't have the time. I just don't have the money. I don't have. Way easier to say that and finalize it rather than saying, you know, I'm going to keep on trying. I don't know exactly the road. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. I don't know if I have the time, but I'm going to assume that I do have these things, or at least that these things will illuminate themselves as I go down that path of progress.
Yeah, dude, I think that's kind of I think it's definitely on some level a choice. There's also a social pressure too. If like, you know, again, someone was mentioning like their dad who kind of has that, and I think a lot of people do, honestly. But it's like, yeah, it's almost becomes like a social threat to be like, yeah, I don't, you know, I actually don't believe that, and I think you can do X, Y, and Z, and it's like all. It's not even saying like that stuff's not there. It's just you don't have to focus on it. It'll
Mm-hmm.
pop up. The way I always look at it is like if you don't do anything, you are drowning by nature in somewhat of a sea of negativity for the most part. The average person, it's like you're watching the news. It's like you're going to die. The country's going to obliterate. You know, the Earth's going to explode. And then you have all your interpersonal relationships. For a lot of people, you show up at a job and they're like, "Boss is a fucking idiot, dickhead, fuck," blah. You know, so it's there. But if again the gratitude, if you can just be like, okay, there is all negative stuff, but what is good? Like, is there anything good? What is that? And of course, you can, you know, it's pretty obvious when you start to think about what's good, and being able to focus on that stuff. If you can have a thing in your life that you go, you know what, at the end of the day, this actually is a very good thing that I'm fortunate to have, that I'm happy I have. Even if it's something like you worked hard for, it doesn't have to be something that was given to you. It's like, you know, I'm happy I got to do this and it worked out. So that's a good thing. No, you know, no ifs, ands, or buts. And then you find another one of those things, and really over time, you're kind of building yourself a little life raft out of like the little scraps of gratitude. And all of a sudden, it's like rather than, you know, you can float amongst that sea of negative thinking, and just still you have all the things you're grateful for, and you're like, yeah, I mean, obviously we're contained in like a big scary teeth gnashing world, but here's the things that I'm really helpful for, and I'm gonna happy for, and I'm gonna focus on them as much as possible. I'm not gonna walk around all day and like be like a, you know, be like, no, I just see happy things. I don't see bad. Like, of course they pop up, but it's like, dude, just waking up in the morning, 3 or 5 things that I'm happy for this day. It changes the tone of. I think it changes the tone of your day big time.
Without a doubt. The funny thing is, this morning I told the guys, Ray and a few other guys, that for my now journal, I'm starting it off with the preemptive gratitudes. So again, man, we're mega
Dude,
minding it.
I love that.
Yep. Yeah, man. No, it definitely changes your state. And I think, if ASB doesn't mind me saying this, there are certain personality types, myself included, that inherently seek weaknesses, or inherently seek glitches in the system. And that's not a negative thing. It's just trying to find, okay, where's the problems? How do I fix it, etc. So, and these tend to be highly disagreeable people, which is me. Like, I'm highly disagreeable. I don't see it as confrontational. It's just like, oh, I see counterbalancing points. I always see, okay, this is the system. Here's the glitch. Here, you can fix it, etc. So I think for those types of personality types, and again, I put myself in this bucket, we have to fight even more to bring ourselves into positivity and to be optimistic. Because I do think there's an element of a concern of non-reality. So, okay, if you're overly optimistic, then you're not living in reality. It's like, okay, I can see what somebody says, and that's sort of my natural default answer as well. But I can tell you that I've now lived enough life, and Matt, you and I both know someone very similar, or know this person. Realists tend to be right more often, in my opinion. Mm. However, what I have noticed is they tend to be less successful as well, because the few things that they could have tried that they just wrote off as highly unlikely, they didn't try. Versus the optimist did try those things, and he tried a bunch of other things that didn't work and never would have worked. But he did try that select few things that did work, that the realist wrote off as impossible or not worth it. And it's those few things that, boom, all of a sudden takes on a different light. I mean, for instance, look at what you're doing, Matt. You know, you and I have a friend, or probably even multiple friends, that have told you that what you've already done is not possible, and that it's not worth your time to try. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I had a bunch of people being like, oh, you know, that's good luck with that, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's like
crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's
and now you're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, but it's one of those things where, again, it's like you really got to kind of, this is what's helped me in my experience. Just focus on what you like to do and the things that are calling you, and do them. And like you were saying, Wes, like, dude, a ton of them fall by the wayside, fall apart, don't work out. But it's like when that doesn't work out, you learn like one thing where you're like, oh, you know, that kind of works. And you can literally apply that kind of mentality to anything. Or you can just sit there and focus on all the parts of your life that are outside of your control, fucked up and shitty. And it's like, okay, sure. Yeah. Like I can think about all that stuff too. I could read, you know, it's like, it doesn't do anything. It's not going to do anything for you.
Right.
So
It's
But it
exactly
is
right.
good in that, like, you can hit a break room at a job and everyone's like, oh yeah, and blah blah blah, and you can do that kind of thing. It's like almost like it's like smoking cigarettes. It's like, it's not good for you at all. They're like, hey, don't do that. It's very bad. But you can, at the end of it, like in the middle of a workday, you can just like pull up a cigarette. It probably feels good to like go smoke cigarettes with everybody else.
Mm,
But,
mm.
but dude, what we should grab. I want to check back in with Francisco if that's okay.
Friend, where you at, brother?
Get
Let's
over
do
here,
it.
dude. Get over here, you. Let me see. Let's see where this bowl is at.
Hot seat time, dude.
There he is. I don't think he's able to video chat. Gunther,
Okay.
also, I posted my ice bath and it was very unsuccessful. Um, I was in and out, in and out, in and out, and I also strained my neck. Also, Wes, I was reading about that. I didn't read like the science studies, but they were saying 50 degrees and below therapeutic effects.
And below.
But
I guess the question is
how
how
much
below does below
exactly?
go?
Yeah, exactly. All right. What the hell?
You're right. Just thinking of when you said like it hurt my buttocks. Like it
It
could not.
hurt big time, dude. Yeah, Francisco, you might have to log back out and come back in. It's not letting me invite you for a video chat. Um, I'll pull up Ryan Flocker in the meantime.
Let's do it.
Yeah, dude, that was painful. Oh,
Hot seat time.
and now Francisco works. We'll check in with Ryan. I already sent him the thing, and then we're back to Francisco. I need to know, dude, how the week went.
He's crushing it, man.
Dude,
Seeing veggies, dude. One of the things I think I'm proud of most on for all of us, is the amount of veggies that I see scrolling through the Discord is
yeah,
insane. Show me another group of men that has produced this amount of veggie intake. It's insane. It's super cool to see. And then
it's true.
ASB sent me a message, I think last week, was just saying, how now when he goes out to restaurants, he's ordering more veggies because of the chart that we shared, just showing the density of veggies versus meat. And ASB, like, I completely agree with you. I now almost have to force myself to eat meat just if I feel like I'm a little low on my protein intake. But it's insane. I don't miss meat in the quantities that I used to eat it at all, like zero.
Yeah, yeah. I'm about to actually do plant-based for a couple weeks.
Oh,
That's
hell yeah,
been that's
man.
been the that was a consensus because it's the same thing. I'll like if I food shop properly, I'm good, and as soon as I run out of vegetables, I'm like, I'll just eat like 4 chicken thighs for lunch, and you eat that, and you're just like, I feel like there's like a brick in your stomach. Let me all right. I think let me just pull up whatchamacallit, Francisco, because I think someone else is switching a laptop.
Yeah, ASB, I agree. It's like if you go out to eat and you're going to get meat out at a typical restaurant, yeah, I highly question the quality of the meat that they're using to begin with. So vegetables, man, all the way.
Yo,
What
Fran,
up,
what's up,
dude?
brother?
what's up, guys? How are you?
Dude, so when you described the week you had ahead of you, I
Yeah,
I, I was biting my nails. I'm like, that sounds tough. How did
yeah.
it go?
It went pretty well, actually. What's up? Say hi.
What's up, buddy? What's up, dude?
Nah, it went pretty well. Everything kind of like ran smoothly. I was worried about my son being like a pain in the butt, but like he was good, man. He was good all week.
Hell yeah.
Makes my life easier. So I can he actually let me do things around the house,
Nice.
and I tried. So we spoke on Monday, and then Wes told me about the fasting program he was doing. So I started it, and so I started on Tuesday, and I'm still going strong on it right now.
Hell yeah, man.
So I don't know, I had I made my own little guidelines where I would wake up and I wouldn't eat until 6, which is pretty long, but
Yeah.
like I just set
6
my mind
p.m.
to it. So
Mm.
sure enough, sometimes I didn't start till 7 p.m. or whatever, just because I was so busy with work and everything. But the first, like I said earlier, 4 o'clock is the time where I'm I start to feel it. I'm like, shit, man, I'm hungry.
Yep.
And but I just muscled through it, and it was crazy. The first 3 days, I lost, I think, 4 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
and then I hit a little plateau, which I was about to give up on it just because I was so hungry. I was like, all right, this shit's not working, but I just
Yeah.
kept on doing it, and I think on Monday I weighed like 278,
Hell yeah.
79, and this morning I weighed 272 and change.
Damn, dude.
So like it was crazy, and it's weird. After I eat that first meal around 6 o'clock, I'm almost like full. Like I don't want to eat anymore, which is kind of crazy because I'm like I haven't eaten all day.
Mm-hmm.
I need something, but like I just after that first meal, I'll throw like a full bag of broccoli, the steam one, the bird's eye steamers, and I just crush it, and like with like a little bit of protein, and I'm like not hungry for the rest of the night.
Dude, how's your energy been? I know
energy has been like a little like negative. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm just like starving.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like my energy or just like I don't know. It's just like I become a little like cranky or whatever.
Yeah, I'm saying like how do you feel during the day? Do you feel like lightheaded and like lethargic? Do you feel like you can't really move?
That's another thing. So usually I do cardio around like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've been scared to do that only because I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah.
So I'm scared if I run, A, I'm going to get lightheaded, and B, I'm going to stuff my face afterwards. So like I've been doing mostly weights after work since I do have some food in my system. But like I'm scared to do cardio. I don't know. Like maybe I should just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I would. I've actually now. I used to be the same way. I would be like, I have to eat. I can't do anything. Like I now prefer to work out on a totally empty stomach. It's weird.
Yeah.
Especially, and I've kind of pushed the limit where like I was noticeably weaker. I would do even weightlifting. I'd feel like noticeably weaker, but it was kind of, and this might be just my weird thought process, but I was like, this is pure spiritual energy, dude. I have no calories in me. This is just my spirit now lifting these weights. And it was like, if you're going for like performance and all that stuff, I could see like, eating and everything, but I now prefer to run on an empty, like a totally empty stomach. And I had the same exact, it's so funny. I had the same exact issue where I ran the day before, or I actually took a kind of like a run with like a long walk. And then on Sunday woke up and my friend was like, hey, do you want to run? I haven't run with this guy in a while. And, we did like 3 miles, and I didn't eat before it, and I psyched myself out like it's not going to go well. Totally fine.
Oh yeah.
And if you get lightheaded, just stop.
Yeah, I feel like lightheaded. Like when I said like around that 4 o'clock time mark, I'm like, oh shit, I'm a little lightheaded, but I just crushed like an iced coffee black, and I'm like, it'll hold me over until 6, 7 o'clock.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and let me set the stage for new listeners or for people who haven't heard this before. But number one, and Fran, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but so a couple weeks ago, number one, you've been working with the team for a long time, but you have to take care of your multiple kids, right? Is it multiple? Yeah. Multiple kids. You had an aunt living at the house who was helping you. She recently moved out. You work, I think your work schedule is crazy too, right? Like, don't you work like night?
I used to work overnights. But this year changed, and now I work like in the afternoon.
Okay.
So like I don't get out of work until midnight. So like that's crazy. So I go from like the kids to work, try to get a little gym session after work, and then just come home and get like 3-4 hours of sleep, and then just do it again the next day.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you think about all of those things, and then Fran, let me ask you, how much weight have you lost in the program in total so far?
I think about like 12 pounds.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody listening who, like, it's tough to create a more difficult situation, right? Managing multiple kids, managing a crazy work schedule, and then putting more on your plate, trying different diets and exercising, doing cardio and lifting. You're a perfect example of what holistic performance actually looks like.
Right.
Like sincerely. And the lightheartedness at which you go about it, right? It doesn't have to be so tedious. Like, it seems like you accept it with open arms. It's like, it is what it is. I'm going to fight through it. So congratulations, man. It's fucking awesome that you're doing all that
for real.
stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm so close to I'm looking at the scale and I'm like pumped because I'm so close to hitting the 260s, and I haven't seen that shit in like years.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So, great job, man. It's fucking awesome to watch your progress.
Gotta nibble away,
Dude, you're absolutely beasting it, man. That's a wild. That schedule you're telling me, that's a wild schedule to hold down and still keep it together and do all your shit. So nice.
Nonstop, bro. Just gotta go with it,
Yeah, bro.
Yep. That's exactly right, man. You're inspiring to me. I'm sure to other guys as well. So keep doing what you're fucking doing, man. It's an honor to fight by your side, brother.
Thanks, bro. Thank you guys, man. Couldn't have done it without you guys.
Oh yeah, dude. Circle, but it's all team.
Yep.
All right, brother.
Man.
Keep
Later
it up.
on.
All right, guys. See you later.
Later,
See you,
bro.
dude. All right. Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, it's wild, man.
Absolute animal.
You know how
Absolute
much
fucking
easier my life is than his, and he just does so much more than me? That's crazy.
I know.
I can't imagine having multiple kids and then doing all that stuff. Like, fucking right, man. That's awesome to see him doing that.
Makes me feel like such a pussy to complain about any, like just such a pussy. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Jim Gaffigan who described. He's like, you know what having 3 kids is like? He's like, having 3 kids is like, let's say you're in a pool and you're drowning holding 2 kids because you already have 2 kids, and then somebody else throws you another kid. You know, it's like that's what having 3 kids is like. So I mean, yeah, I mean, then can you imagine having to work out and trying to lose weight? Dude, he's crushing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just also tossed one to I believe Flocker. There he is.
Yo, what up, y'all?
Flocker, what's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, buddy?
Dude?
All right, y'all. How y'all doing?
Good,
Is that
man.
construction too loud? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
You don't hear the construction out there?
Yeah.
Yep, can hear you. We're all good. It's a nice ambiance.
Back inside a little bit.
Yeah. What you doing,
How
dude?
y'all doing, man?
Pretty good, dude.
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm fine-ish. I'm shining a little too much on y'all. Sorry, I'm actually kind of nervous to talk to y'all.
Why, man?
I don't know. I haven't gone on here yet.
True. No, I can see that. I always
first
forget.
time on the hot seat.
Yeah, you are in the hot seat. So what's up, bro? What you doing?
Nah, shit, man. I think you want to talk about complacency. Was that right, Troy?
Whatever you want, bro.
So yeah, I think so. The intention of the hot seat is say, okay, what is one thing that you would like to work on that all of us can comment on? Again, it's no guru comments or anything. It's just as a team saying, okay, if this is the obstacle you're dealing with, let's go through it together.
Well, I just saw Troy like mention, man, I don't know how to do the camera. I saw Troy mention complacency, and like I'm feeling that like a lot lately with work. I got like a really good job right out of college, like a Fortune 500 healthcare logistics company. Didn't even know the name of them, but like my dad had me applying to jobs like at least 2 a week if you're going to stay in the house. And they actually called me when I was managing a glass shop, like a head shop. And I told them, I was like, I got customers, like I got to call you back later. And like hung up on them, called them back, got the job. I found out later it's like a, I guess I can say it, right? Owens & Minor. It's a healthcare logistics. So it's a Fortune 500 company across the U.S. We were in Europe until last year, but it's a good job to get right out of college, basically. And so I was fine with that. That's 5 years ago. I got a promotion the first year, second year, but like not a lot of money and not a lot of like new responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really expanded my skills at all. But now I'm sitting here 4 years, 5 years, almost 5 years in, 5 years next month. I just don't know. I don't want to keep doing this because I don't know. I went to school for marketing and like branding, but now I'm in like a corporate office. But we're also working from home, so COVID kind of changed a little bit. So like we're working from home until next year. So it's honestly like a good setup, but I'm not learning anything. I'm not growing at all, like career-wise. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
100%, 100%. Matt, what are your thoughts on that, dude?
Well, I'm curious. What do you know? I hear all the kind of base level, like it's a good job, it's this and that is good. And there, there's always kind of utility to that. What do you actually want to do? Like,
I don't know, man. That's like one of the things when y'all start, or when I first found Rhomas, that was one of the things I think I initially asked Wes was, how do you find like what you're passionate about? Because I don't really know what I'm passionate about. And I know you said read a lot of books that are like surround whatever subject you're wondering about. I don't know the Google search to put in to like, how do you find your passion? And like, it's 28. It's getting kind of late, right? Start something.
No, I don't think
so. Not at all.
I feel like I'm behind the clock.
Nah. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know, Wes. What do you think?
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, great fucking question. Number two, there are a lot of men that are in the same exact position. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Okay. The first thing, finding the passion. I actually think passion is not found. I think it's kind of created, and it's simultaneously discovered, but the prerequisite is action. So yes, you can go and learn about certain things, but I don't think there's any replacement for what is your best guess now, and then how can you work into action into it. So for instance, like there's probably a reason, like why did you become a marketing major in college?
Because I didn't want to go to 8 years of school to be a psychiatrist.
Dude,
Got
that's
it.
what I did. Holy shit.
That's exactly what Matt did.
No, we're very similar, brother. But yeah, I went to, and I figured like marketing or branding, you can just apply that anywhere. But now my job's in healthcare logistics, nothing to do with anything else. But it's cool.
So do you mind if I comment on that part?
It's a lot of numbers. I like having like creative like tasks to do. My last job, I managed a glass and a vape store. We sold all the kratom and all that stuff, and I had like pretty much free reign. Like my boss was a Jordanian guy. He'd go back to Jordan like 5 months. Here's a credit card. Take care of the shops, and I could like make like ad campaigns and stuff like that. So that was fun.
Sure.
But now I'm like sitting in like I feel like I'm stuck in like a corporate structure where I can't really. I just mess with numbers all day on a green.
Yeah. And I say this out of love that you put yourself into. But here's the thing that I think is great.
My dad.
The thing that but then you comply with it. So, but here's the thing that I think was great. I don't know, Matt, did you hear it? Like I asked you why you went into marketing. You said, well, because basically it wouldn't take me as long to get the degree as psychology. My question is,
a lot of places.
Yeah, but so is psychology. But I'm wondering, is that the thing for you? Because that was the thing for Matt.
What's that?
Right. So like psychology. So it seemed right away you told me, right? Hey, why'd you do marketing? Oh, well, because it would take me less time than psychology. Well, what's your curiosity with psychology? Because it seems like that is an interest to you. You just didn't go that route because it may have been a little more tedious.
Yeah, I'll tell you my initial interest in psychology was I've always wanted to work for MAPS since I was like 12 almost. And yeah, figured Matt would know what that was.
For what is it?
Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. They're doing a lot of like research with like MDMA. They're doing a lot of MDMA and PTSD right now. They're almost done with all those trials. They were doing that when I was like 12, like 13, 28. But they just basically try to utilize psychedelics.
Okay.
Drugs that are right now illegal, but like utilize them in a therapeutic way.
Sure.
But then I kind of, that was going to be like the psychiatrist thing, because that was the only way I saw into working with them. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the outside. But I forgot what I was saying.
Well, so you were going down the psychology route because of psychedelic research, et cetera.
Right. And then I just had a lot of encouraging teachers. Like, it's just really interesting. Like, in high school, I did the AP, all that jazz. Mm-hmm. And scored really well, so I got credit going into college. So I was like, okay, going to college. I was coming in as a sophomore. And at that point, I was doing, I think I did, because like I ended up getting my minor in psychology. And I guess it was just the professors that I kept meeting. Like, they were the most interesting. And it was interesting, like, to see how people interact. As I don't know if I like the counselor aspect, but I just like, I don't know, just psychology is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And then
here's something too I've noticed too, and this is something I had to do where it's like, so that was I say this to myself all the time because I made the exact same decision. That was a ill-informed, rash decision to to be like, it's just kind of when I'm saying this to myself, when I was like, well, psychology takes too long, I'm gonna switch to business. That was a decision I made. That was ill-informed. It was like, if I was talking to somebody now, I'd say, what the fuck? Whoa, hold on. How long? You're what? 20 something? It's like, don't even worry about that. But you can't, I don't kick myself for it. The key is recognizing how ill-informed that decision was and then not making other ones like it, if that makes sense. To be like,
forward, but not going back and like reversing that decision.
Yeah. Or just being like, okay, so that was that decision. And again, maybe you would have done psychology and said, you know what? I don't even like this. Totally fair. But it's like to just go, well, yeah, that didn't work out. Let me I'll just go do this thing because I've been told it's the right thing to do. And again, there's no.
That's what I feel like I did, man.
Yeah, and there's no problem with that. Again, it's like I don't even think that's a bad thing. And there is an extreme utility just to having a job that pays your bills with, like there's nothing wrong with that. Because again, that's almost like I would say even myself, it's almost a spoiled thought to be like, I need more than that, which is it's a good thing you have a job. But if the opportunity arises to, like you were saying, find something you're into or find meaning or passion, a lot of times we don't even have to go, at least initially, try to shoehorn meaning, passion, and a career all in one. It's like you can go the hobby route where it's like, say you want to do some sort of like thing with psychedelics, maps. There's a million volunteer, and I've looked into these things. There's volunteer opportunities. There's helplines they've started. So like you can almost do a thing. You can have a job that sustains meaningful hobbies and stuff outside of that job. And then that job doesn't become this like, what am I doing with my life? It's like, oh, this is the thing that's paying for the other things. So yeah, man, it's like the thing I would think, and I have to tell myself all the time, it's like you don't have to shoehorn it all into one package of job, career, health, meaning, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of use them to at least gravitate towards other things, but it doesn't have to be a sudden shift. But I do think it's like I had to look back and go, oh, that's not a good way to think. To go, well, that'll take too long. Therefore, there's no getting around the sludge of of just going through a thing that's going to be long, tedious, boring, and kind of annoying and frustrating. Because if I orbited on the periphery of that for a long, long time, and then you just become master of none. You know what I mean? You're just kind of out here like, what am I? You can even say I have a job, blah blah blah, and it's not, again, the job's not bad. It just seems like there's untapped potential in you that's kind of being like, I want to do more stuff. I want to use these parts of my brain. And it's like there's various avenues for that. Ideally, you can do it career-wise, but before you do that, you can figure out ways to do that outside of a career domain and gain kind of some form of mastery over it.
Right.
Oh, 100%, man. I think one of the biggest underlooked aspects of today is just try projects. Like, honestly, Ryan, I think you already have it. If I had to take my best guess, it's like you already have it, but you might just be a little afraid to go down that road because maybe you don't know how to connect the dots all the way down. I would say
it. What are you referring to?
Oh, interest in psychology.
Oh, yeah. I know I'm interested in that, but I don't know. That's why this was like our psych gnaw. Actually, when I heard about that, Matt, that was kind of cool concept because it's something like that wasn't. It's not your job, correct? You're not paying your bill. Yeah. I never saw. I guess like what you were saying, like your job and your passion, you don't really tie them together. Something that runs parallel with that. I thought all comics, like stand-up comedians, that's their job. I didn't realize you could have a job and actually go do stand-up. Like have that as your passion that you do outside of your work. I thought that was your job and like full time.
There's the overwhelming majority of comedians work.
I didn't realize I guess I don't know how to make that separation a lot.
No,
well, that's because society doesn't teach you that often. Yeah. They say, oh, you have to pick the job when you're 22 years old, and that's it. That is the biggest load of shit ever, especially now with the internet. Like exactly what you just gave Matt credit for doing, that's exactly what you should be doing. Going and doing a project, going deeper into your curiosity, because I think that's the seed for ultimately building out your passion. Like what have you been most curious about for the longest period of time? It sounds to me very similar to what Matt was curious about for a long period of time. He circumnavigated that for a while, but inevitably, that's what we had that quote earlier on. It's again, it's all risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till you get the bill for not trying, dude. And the ultimate bill is regret, man. Yeah, like 30 years down the road, like blaming your wife because you're like, I wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be a psychologist, and you ruined. Like, how many times do we hear people having those kinds of conversations? Like, should be a wake-up call. Dude, go do a fucking project, man. It's not that you have to go and quit your job and try to be whatever, a psychologist or in whatever field you want to be. Go and do a project. Create value for yourself and then share it with other people. Go do a little more research. Create a little video. Share it out there. Dude, there's so many ways you can go down that road. And by the way, keep your job and you can keep the stability of income, all of that stuff.
Yep. Well, that's what I thought this coming year is probably a good opportunity for me to do that because we're working from home at least until 2022. Yeah. And make sure my work camera's not on, but I don't really have to do that much work when I'm working from home.
No, for sure. I mean, everyone knows that. In those big corporate jobs, it's like You're not a dude with a shovel outside digging holes where it's like if that shovel doesn't hit the dirt, you're getting yelled at. It's like
I got a report at 11, and I got a report at 3.
yeah,
And pretty much, as long as 15 minutes.
yeah,
So,
sure,
like,
sure,
I
of course.
have time to like learn other stuff or like work on projects.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
But
Think about that.
don't know
That's
what
insane.
to do though. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I mean, Lucas threw in a thing that I think is I think is the best way. Well, here's the thing: what you got to do is start, and it doesn't matter what you do because again, you're not gonna like. It's not like a dart where you got to throw a bullseye. You just got to throw a fucking dart. You know what I mean? You throw as many as you want. So he was saying identify people at that organization with maps or any other one like it. If you go to meetup.com, there's usually local meetups around these kinds of things.
Yeah, they are weird sometimes, man.
That's true. That's true. But it's also like,
especially my city, it's a real artsy city.
yeah.
So like a lot of those things, it turns into less scientific approaches to you know what I'm saying, like the
sure. Well, this is the other thing too. It's like I totally understand what you're saying, and again, dude, I do feel like we might have been like two cells that split at some point because it's like I have very similar hangups, and it's like, yeah, but it's like maybe they are, or maybe how much of it is like the fact that maybe or yeah, sure, they could be, or what could you bring to that table in a way that maybe kind of bring your own authenticity in a way, or just be like, hey, that's just not for me, but this whole idea is for me. But like if there's a certain personality type around that endeavor that turns you off, it's like doesn't mean you don't have to do it, or that like only people like that do that thing. I guess sometimes one of those self-limiting things that if you just could, and again, I can literally, it's like I'm talking to myself. That's an acceptance thing. Just let it be.
I found a lot of similarities in like it looked like the train of thought you seem to have. I'm sorry, I'm just going to make sure I hit that 15-minute mark and log back in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think what I hear here is, number one, if you want kind of like a shortcut, it's think about go in with the intention of providing value to yourself and others. The cool thing about developing a career, especially like a side project or a side business, is you can say, okay, I want to serve other people. Who do I want to serve? Well, you can serve people just like you, like with the same interests. So it's very, very simple. Okay, if I were just creating something for me, what would I create? And dude, that leads me into, I could do infinite work there. So I love health. I love finance. There's always another research project I can do to help myself learn. And then you just package up in a nice little video or audio and then teach it out to the world and be unattached to the result for an extended period of time, for years. And then all of a sudden you've created the exact type of person that you want to be, or with the exact type of value that you want to create. Does that make sense? Versus you keep going down the road that you're going down, you've got no say over what you create every day. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like we got to move medical products to hospitals. You got to get it perfectly right. It's literally I look at a green screen all day, like green text. But what would you say, like I understand that concept, Wes, but what would the literal next step be?
Oh, dude, super. I'll give you an example. So that thing that you just said, where psychology meets psychedelics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what that means. So one thing, for example, that you could do is create a project around like enlightening people in that area, for people who could benefit from that.
In terms, kind of like.
Exactly. Right. So for people, I'm assuming that one of the reasons you were interested in that is because it could provide value for yourself or for others, right?
Right.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people, including myself, who have no idea. It scares the shit out of me when Matt talks about like some of this stuff, So it's like, I have no idea, like all my preconceived notions of just like 5th grade, health class saying like, don't do drugs, right? That's all that goes on my head. Right.
I had a principal who told us quick story. When in high school, I was in a business club, DECA, and we like went to a competition and we like snuck out and we went to a concert during the competition, like in Norfolk, and we got in trouble for smoking weed and drinking alcohol. We had a doctor tell us, our principal, like if you smoke weed and drink alcohol at the same time, you will die no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
He was a doctor, but he was a doctorate telling a bunch of kids that it's weird.
Here's the root issue too, man, in terms of like, wanting to get into psychedelic research. It's like if that is something you genuinely want to do, you have to go back to school. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to research, you
I
have
was
to.
in school now. When I was 22, like
Mhm.
I didn't think I'd want to be in school for 6 more years, but now I wish I could still be going to school.
Dude, I went back and got my master's. It was awesome.
Mhm.
It was so tight, dude. And it's like, here's a little, again, I don't know if you want to go the social work route, but that's kind of a cheat code where you can go get social work master's 2 years. And then after that, you can get your license. And you could be a practicing.
Like, well,
So if you go to school for social work, which again, if you go, just sit there and nod for 2 years because it's just nothing but like radical political theory, just whatever. But the loophole in that kind of thing is social work. You can go to school for social work, and then you can you get social work, blah blah blah. After 2 years of practicing, you can apply to get your clinical license, and then you can start working through your clinical license to the point where you could have your own practice and do all this stuff. But it's like that's the bare minimum. You got to do that, and you also not like violate the ridiculous social work code of ethics and get kicked out.
kind of like your community college cheat code. Community college 2 years.
Sort of. I mean, for psychology, you can either go back to school for psychology and do that whole process and take all of the lab stuff, which you seem to like the science, so you might want to do the psychology route. Or, and again, you might not want to do any of this, and that's fine. But it's like if you genuinely, there's the idea. This is what I suffer from. That would be cool version, which is ultimately a daydream, versus like the practical steps to actually doing it, and they're two different conversations.
I think something earlier you said, Wes, the project like teaching people who don't know about it more about it. That might work. I just work with the marketing aspect and the fact that I like doing like projects and liked working with the glass shop and we had to advertise and all that. That's advertising. That's marketing
For sure.
Mhm.
Teaching people new things.
Yep.
That might be a connection I can make.
Dude, it seems like you just want to
100%.
use it seems like you just want to use some sort of your brain in some sort of creative endeavor, if I could be honest. That's almost what it seems like. You just don't want to sit and drone out in front of a computer all day.
Wow.
Which, okay, totally fair. So yeah, you don't have to do any of these particular things, but I think the kind of meta takeaway is that steps need to be taken, and that even if you don't know what you want to do, that's a thing to do, is to start to narrow that down. Either you're actively working on narrowing that down or you're daydreaming. It's one or the other. And it's like you start to recognize like, oh, I'm just kind of jerking myself off. Let me actually take some steps. And you might do 55 million different things, but this is like, there's kind of the collective daydream of people at a company like, oh, that would be cool. You know what? That would be cool. And then there's someone who actually tries to do a new thing.
Yep.
And it's a whole different thing. And it's something that almost seems like weird or like, oh, but there are practical steps, and only you can figure out the ones that will actually work for you and in terms of what you want to do. Otherwise, you'll have people being like, do this, do that, do this. And you're like, eh. So yeah, man, I mean, again, I think the first step would just be to like write a list of things you would like to do and just do them. Like start to try to carry the connection between like, here's a thing that would be cool.
Like
here's the logical steps to do that thing. Even if it's like going hiking, do that. Okay, now I'm kind of flexing that muscle of like planning a thing and actually seeing it through. And then you can start to plug in other stuff,
That's a big thing I have too. It's just starting to do something different.
Yeah. And Ryan, can I give you a little bit of a cheat code with this?
Yeah, sure.
I think what happens with most people is then they come out of this kind of conversation and they'll say, "Oh, well, great. I'm gonna create the next Facebook in this domain." Like they make this huge project, and it's like there's no reward in it until they become a multi-billionaire with it. I actually say the exact opposite. It's like first start with a one-pager. Like just create a one-pager on a certain thing, and then if you complete it, awesome. That's
what's
your
a
win.
one-pager? What's a one?
Good question. So literally, let's just say if you had to teach me about psychedelics and the value in whatever domain, right? Creating a one-pager that you could send to me saying, "Hey, Wes, I know you're super scared of drugs and makes your hands sweat. You get a little dizzy whenever Matt talks about it. I just sent you a one-pager. On the benefits of it, right? You could literally do that probably in 30 minutes, right? Just the first draft of a one-pager. Then if you want to increase the value, so you already got the win, right? You're good. Then you could say, well, okay, I want to create a little more value. So now maybe I'll create a video that just reads the one-pager. Because maybe Wes, when he sees my one-pager, again, he's still just too disoriented to even read. So I'm going to teach it to him verbally. That's your next. Then you can increase the. Then I create a PowerPoint. Then I create. You can have these baby steps.
Go in the woods and take acid.
So I think what Wes is saying is absolutely the key, because I used to do the same thing. I would kind of like sit around and if I had a guess too, when I take my personality profile, I'm really high in openness and really low in conscientiousness, which is like a horrible mix because you have all these, you love all these different things, but your follow through is just trash. That's how my follow through is trash.
Yeah.
I need to be
I'll
kind of
have
regimented.
projects, but I won't start or like finish any of them.
Exactly. That's yes.
Board somewhere, ideas of stuff to do, but I just don't start them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I have bought 7 whiteboards in my life and hung 2 of them. So yeah, it's like, that's kind of what I'm working with. But yeah, man. So again, I think the ball's kind of just in your court, and you were in a hot seat, dude. So I commend you for sitting in a hot seat. But it's like, dude, I'm telling you, the main trick is undermining that kind of, just like we're talking about, that kind of like quote unquote realistic, never like negative thought process of like, well, there's those people that's those kind of people, and they're weird, and they're this and they're that, and that's that, and I'm too old, I'm blah 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 blah. It's like, dude, just do a thing, even if it's like sitting down every day and just journaling your thoughts to like try to organize some aspect of your day. That's a huge help for me. That's what I have to do. I have to sit down and say, here's exactly what I'm doing today, and if I deviate from it, fine. But I at least have a plan, because if I don't have a plan for 1 year and every day I'm kind of loosey goosey in it, I go off the rails. And it's like, and I think that's kind of important for people who have, I guess our similar mental makeup, whatever that shared thing is. So
right, Wes is time. Your time blocks have helped me a lot with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
What to make the block?
I can tell you right now, have one time block today, like of an hour or 2 hours, to make a 1-pager. And send it out to the group. Please, I guarantee you, like that's just the next quick step. And then of course, like people like me are going to say, yeah, but what about this? And you can edit the 1-pager, and then you can build it into a presentation, right? Like you just get this momentum. Again, not some sort of big, it's so important to have a North Star goal and a vision, but that's not the next action step. You can't have an action step that says, I'm going to accomplish my North Star goal right now. It's the 1-pager is what does it. And if you can't follow through on a 1-pager, then that's probably evidence that you don't really like the topic. Ooh. If you can do a 1-page, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's good. Like that's a good thing to know. It's like, but if you like the topic, you can take a half hour to write a 1-pager.
Wes, what makes you most concerned about that stuff? Are you really like scared of the
something's gonna turn off and I'm never gonna turn back on again?
Okay, I got you.
So there, like you can answer that question in there.
That's that's why I had. Yeah.
Please write a 1-pager that convinces Wes to do mushrooms with me. Please.
Just go in the woods, Wes.
Just go.
Well, dudes, fantastic, man. This has been a great hot seat. This is what it's all about, dude. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. Talking that out, because I've been sitting here for like a year, like thinking, like, what do I do? What do I do next? What do I do next? And I never came to any of those conclusions.
Dude, please take some time today to do that project. Again, just get done iteration 1. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get done iteration 1, send it out to the group, and then maybe we'll check in with you on Friday if we can remember to do that. That's the path. Just path of progress, inch by inch, man.
The 1-pager's big, dude. The 1-pager's big. Flocker, final words?
I got you, Wes. You won't be scared anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Flocker.
Mushrooms with Wes in the woods one day.
We will. We'll get it.
Thanks for coming over, brother. Good seeing you.
Later, man. Man, fantastic.
Hell yeah, man. I can't wait to see that 1-pager. I swear to God, if I'm running around in the woods naked or something, I'm going to be pissed in the future, man.
Wes, what do you got going on this week? What do you got going on this week?
So I want to get done. Number one, I want to launch our next seminar marketing. I actually just received a phone call for it. I'm still like nervous about that because it's a $4,000 drop, but I got to do it for the next steps. That's the biggest thing. And then keep on chipping away at writing the script for our next video here on Rhomas. Nice.
Hell yeah. Sorry, what was the thing? I saw I got distracted by the comments. What was the thing before you said Rhomas? The marketing thing?
Yeah. So what it is right now is like, I need to, and please guys, like push on me for this. Like it's a pure example of I've reached a level that I've been wanting to reach in finance. But now the stuff, like we talked about last week, the stuff that got me here is not the stuff that will get me there. And particularly it's now putting a lot of money down, right? Like it's the risk of like, okay, now to get to this next level, it's going to be multi-thousands of dollar batches to get to the next level. So that's where I need to get.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you would be open to kind of chronicling, you don't need to get into like the super fine details of that, but just kind of that shift and like really, obviously I know you'll be paying attention to what these steps are, but I'll be curious to follow that because that is like a big thing of like switching things up at that level
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
keeping your head straight and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, then no, I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, if it helps everybody, because I can tell you, like the mentors that I have who are very successful, the one common denominator between all of them, there's a few, but one of them that stands out is across the board. They all said they had the guts to double, triple, and quadruple down, especially on money, spending money to grow the business.
Okay.
They said where their peers did not.
Yeah.
Where their peers just weren't willing to reinvest in the business because they thought it was risky. Because, like, for instance, like last year I dropped, one batch of marketing. It cost me about $4,000 and I didn't get anything in return, like zero, So like that makes you a little gun shy. And I've done it a few more times, et cetera. But it's like I just need to commit to it. Like every single week, every single month, just keep on doing it, and eventually it clicks.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. I gotta like apply some of that to myself.
Yeah, I think all business owners do, man. They really, really do.
I get a little tight. I get my T-Rex arms going, and I'm like, no.
Oh yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
Dude,
so I'll definitely chronicle and let you guys know how the journey is.
Hell yeah. What do I got to do this week? I just got to finish up the audio for the project we're working on, and that will be done this week. Mark my words.
Hell yeah.
I ran into some audio editing stuff, so yeah, I just got to do that. Finish the psych. I'm wrapping up logotherapy this week, so that'll be done and out. I'm really excited. I have a new format for Psychnol. I'm really excited about the video format. And other than that, it's just kind of like finish those two things. I have a movie idea I want to start writing. And
nice, man.
Yeah, I came up with a concept I think would be pretty cool, and I think I could write a movie pretty quickly. Dude, like now after writing like books and everything, I'm like, I think I can crank a movie out fairly quickly.
Dude, I swear you would love the Hank and John Green brothers. The Green brothers, I think we've talked about them.
I've seen them before, dude. They rule.
Specifically, John. I feel like you would be a good John.
Hell yeah.
And Hank is the nerdy brother, so I'd be the Hank, you'd be the John. But I think you'd be really interested in John.
All right, I'm gonna check. I'll literally check them out right after this. But I have heard of them before. But yeah, it's really just that, just kind of finishing. This is again big one for the whatchamacallit, Flocker. This is where I've got myself traditionally. I start a thing, and I'm like, I kind of want to do something else now, and I'm finishing through. I'm done doing the logotherapy stuff. I want to think about something else, but I have to finish it up.
Yep.
And then I can do my new stuff that I'm super excited to do. So yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly. And Ray's spot on. Like once you get to 80%, just ship it out. But then also, Matt, what you're doing and you're teaching me and everybody else is finishing is not as much of a personality trait. Like there are certain personality traits that it makes it harder to finish, but it's also a muscle. It's like, yeah, your bicep can naturally be small, but if you do enough reps on that bicep with curls, it's going to get bigger regardless. So teaching yourself to finish, and this message is for Flocker, like that's why set the goals small and then finish them. And then simultaneously, you're teaching yourself about who you are as a man to be able to finish things. So 5 years from now, you'll no longer know yourself as the person who can't finish stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, really it is. It's taking ideas that would otherwise just like disappear into a fog and like wrangling them into physical form. And it does. It takes follow through. And, you have to just be able to just do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And just for Flocker, just so you know, bud, my vote is I never put any projects on myself. Like if I've got a long-term project, I break it down to maximum weekly. I think if you don't have something on your schedule weekly, it doesn't exist, at least to me. It's like on a monthly schedule, it doesn't work. So daily is best, weekly at most, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so then it's like, okay, I can do a project today. I might not be able to do this enormous project over the course of 5 years, but I can do a single smaller project today.
Yep.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Wes, you the man.
All right, brother. You guys too. Talk to you on Friday.